We're here. It's match day. The Premier League season is upon us. Well, started last night. As I record this, it's actually an hour or so after Manchester United faced Fulham. I watched the majority of the game. It was hard to watch it and not think of West Ham, actually. It's obviously the Friday night kickoff. And I don't know about you, it feels like it's a long time to wait on Saturday, isn't it? You know, is it the last one? Whatever it is, the 5:30 kickoff. I think it's the last one on Saturday anyway. I'm going to guess it could be worse. It could be the Tottenham-Leicester game on Monday. That would be, if you're a Tottenham or Leicester fan, you're going to be absolutely chomping at the bit, aren't you, to get involved in the Premier League opener. It wasn't a swashbuckler, it has to be said. Fulham, Manchester United. Fulham are all right, I've got to say. They look to be carrying on from where they left off last season. Manchester United, a bit lucky really. I thought it was funny actually. I was thinking about what Lopetegui had said about West Ham needing 2 players for every position, and I was watching Fulham, and as I watched them, as each substitution happened, they sort of progressively got worse. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think Silva's a good manager. There was a point where he was being suggested as possibly David Moyes' replacement. I would have been happy. I think he's a good manager. I wouldn't have minded Silva at all. So I don't think it was his fault. I don't think he was making substitutions and his tactics were making the team worse. It's just the players that he was bringing on weren't as effective as those that were on the pitch. And I think that was... It made me think about West Ham, made me think about Lopetegui, made me think about this whole 2 players for each position thing. And it's weird, isn't it? I think if you're a Fulham fan... It's early days. No one can tell anything from the first game of the season, but just all I've got is one game. It's Manchester United against Fulham, right? I think if you're a Fulham fan, you'd probably be thinking, "Oh, I don't want the substitutions. Don't let the substitutions happen," because they were full of pace and they were full of vibrancy, and it just sort of weakened them, incrementally weakened them each and every point. Where I think possibly with West Ham, whether things are going well or whether they aren't going well, you're going to be thinking, it'd be good. Wouldn't it be good to get Füllkrug on? It'd be good to get Somerville on, or whoever the case may be. You're going to be looking at that bench, and you're going to be thinking, yeah, okay, bring him on. This is going to be good. This will hopefully, change things up. And realistically, to look at a bench and see sort of absolute quality there is what you want to see. And, well, I guess in that sense, sort of Manchester United had it, didn't they? They had Xerxes came on and obviously scored the winner. He was bringing on central defenders like it was going out of fashion. Worked for him, didn't it, Ten Hag? I think it's going to be... I'd be amazed if they won the league. Honestly, I'd be amazed. I really, really would. I don't think it's any... I'm surprised he's still in the job, honestly. I really am. He doesn't look to be any better a manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I just don't... Anyway, there you go. I may be proven wrong. I haven't done my predictions. I've been away. I've been out of the loop, haven't I? I've been out of the loop. Arsenal for the league. There you go. Unfortunately, that's who I think will do it this season. But there was talk, wasn't there? Talk about Manchester City coming in and having a blast in the transfer window, and with Mohamed Kudus being rumoured as one of the ones. I'm going to say Manchester City can't have Mohamed Kudus. Not that I have anything to do with it at all. But he's not for sale. I don't think we'd sell him. Not at this point. It's really clear that it's funny. What Lopetegui's asked for is 2 players for every position. It looks like he's going to get them as well. I don't think he's been overly fussy in as much as saying, I want to pick every single one. He clearly hasn't. But I don't think he would take kindly to having a player as good as Mohamed Kudus basically sold out from underneath him. Now, the Premier League is not the only thing that is returning this weekend. I'll tell you what else is returning. It's that wonderful partnership of Match Bingo and Hammers Chat. And I'll tell you why it's wonderful, because so many people won on it last season. Loads of you guys. And I'll tell you what, if you don't believe me, join up for the build-up show with me and Gio later on today. And there'll be people popping up and they say, actually, I won 50 quid, I won 200 quid, I won 30 quid. Listen, loads and loads of people played Match Bingo and won last season. And this season is going to be the same. We've got a special offer for you now, and that is if you deposit £10, you get £20 extra credit on top. We got a 3 for 2 for the West Ham game today. And just look, you've got to download it. Use the link below. The links are all the same as before. If you've already downloaded it, you're already in. You're done. But get in there and play it. So today is 3 for the price of 2 on the West Ham game against Aston Villa. It's £2 per play, per card, a bingo card. It's a bingo card. You know, like when you normally play bingo and there's a caller, he calls out two fat ducks, that's not it. 2 ducks, 22. 2 fat ladies, 88. They probably don't say that anymore. You're not allowed to say that sort of thing. It's a game of bingo. But rather than there being numbers, things have to happen during the game. A throw-in, a goal kick, hitting the post, a substitution, that sort of thing. Get involved is easy as pie, and pie is very, very easy to play. Links in the description below, and throughout the season, they have a whole bunch of free games as well. Get involved. Link is down there in the description below. Anyway, let's crack on with what we're talking about. Lopetegui. He has been incredibly impressive, it has to be said. Incredibly impressive in interviews. There's a confidence to him. And it was interesting because the interviews that I've heard, a lot of them are trying to make out I don't know, that there's a kinship, there's a friendship between him and Unai Emery. And apparently they were born minutes away from each other. They're from the village, the adjoining village, basically, in Basque Country. I don't know about it. I'm just telling you what I've heard anyway. But every time it's mentioned, Lopetegui sort of plays it down. He plays it down. I'm not suggesting there's any angst between them or anything like that. But you can just tell this guy is ultra competitive. And he's really, really going to want to win. There's absolutely no doubt about it. You're going to know that someone coming from your hometown or the one next to it, you're going to want to outdo them. Of course, they've both managed Sevilla, as you know as well. There's got to be a competitive edge between these two men, certainly. As for the game, well, this is going to be a tricky one, I think. A tricky one to call. We tried to have a little dabble at the first team, and I think most of us can have a guess of what it's going to be. Look, Aston Villa are an amazing team. I thought they were brilliant last season to break up the top 4. In fact, if you were to ask me now, I'm going to say it. We talked about Man United at the start of the video. I think that Aston Villa, I'll say it now, there's no prediction, Aston Villa to finish above Manchester United. I think they're good. I think they're really, really good. They were forced into a sale they probably didn't want to do due to PSR early in the season. I think they've replaced him with Onana and done really well. Good players coming in. They're going to be tough. This is going to be a tough game. And West Ham's season won't be defined by what we do against Aston Villa. Emery's going to have them really, really well drilled. There's no way that West Ham can be as well drilled as Aston Villa just because all the players there know his tactics apart from the new ones. He's only really got to teach, however many signings they've made, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, those new signings who are going to feature, he's only really got to teach them his tactics, Unai Emery. It's a bit different for Lopetegui. He's got to teach everybody from scratch, and I think it's not going to be an easy task. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. He talks about having numerous systems. This was something that Sam Allardyce was meant to introduce some time ago. Never quite happened, but he's been talked about playing a certain style at home, a certain style away from home, focusing on the opposition, changing your tactics depending on who that opposition is going to be. This is really important. You can see, I don't even think you're looking at just 2 different styles. I think you're looking at 3, 4 different styles. That's got to take a long time to coach. And whilst I don't want to be out of Europe, I really don't. We're going to miss it this season. We really are. I think you're possibly going to need that time on the training pitch to drill that sort of stuff. So I think we can only get better as the season goes on. And I think, well, I don't know. I was going to say maybe we'll be at our worst in our first game. Who am I to know? We've still got some more signings to come in. We've got some signings to come back from injury. I do think Edson Alvarez is going to make a big difference and have a big role to play in the team. It's going to be really interesting to see how Jarrod Bowen does today, captain. But in many respects, he's the player I worry least about. I would consider him to be the most reliable player that we have. It's just almost beyond measure. He's a living legend, but as I always say, he's probably going to have to retire to get the full acclaim. But not to say he's not appreciated. He is greatly appreciated by everyone. But I'm not worried about him. I think he'll do absolutely great with the captaincy. I think he'll lead the team well. Would not surprise me if he scores at all. I mean, the other thing is atmosphere. Lopetegui keeps talking about atmosphere. He alluded to the fact that obviously the stadium wasn't even half full, was it, for the Betway Cup, let's be honest. But he alluded to that, but he was very clear, very clever not to sort of insult the fans. And but he wants an atmosphere. There's no doubt about it. But he's also going to be aware that the part that he has to play in that. And it was a criticism I often had about David Moyes, actually. David Moyes sometimes would allude to the fans and the fans being quiet. And I used to think, well, you've got to do your bit as well. And I often thought that's one thing he got wrong, which was David Moyes' first 5 minutes of a game. Go on, go for it. You get the fans up then. You get them up, you get them excited. You set the tempo. Let the team set the tempo. And then the fans will follow on. They'll carry suit. So as it goes like this. Basically, bubbles. The fans sing bubbles. The referee blows his whistle. Then the team go out, have a couple of attacks, and then the fans carry on singing. That's how it should work. But I do think, a lot of the time last season, Moyes' tactics sort of dampened the atmosphere in many respects. And he's almost every interview I've heard Lopetegui talk about atmosphere. And so it's going to be interesting to see how he plays that one as well. So I think, but he's a wily old operator, really, Lopetegui, and I think he's going to know what he's doing. I'm excited. I'm absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. It's just a shame that it's so late in the day, really, isn't it? But hey, there you go. It's that's one of those things. I guess it gives us all a chance to get a few things done. I've been so out the loop with everything. Honestly, up until about 5 minutes ago, I was still reading. Thinking, hold on, is this right? Andy Irving's been linked with a move away. I've got a lot of catching up to do. I'll be fully caught up, I'm sure, before I join Gio an hour before kickoff. At least I think it's an hour before kickoff. They've changed all the. I think it's 75 minutes before kickoff that they released the teams. I might be right, might be wrong. That's what I thought they were doing this season, that they were going to release the teams a little bit earlier. So there we go. We'll have a little bit longer to get our teeth into it. We won't have this suspense of waiting to find out who's playing. But I'm really excited about that. Really excited to find out. As excited as I've been about a starting lineup, probably since Prague, Even though we probably knew what that was going to be. I think we probably know most of what the team is going to be, but as I mentioned yesterday when I was strolling around the lake with a bus behind me, I do think that there's going to be a curveball thrown in that midfield. It's going to be interesting. I think, as I mentioned yesterday, I think Antonio's going to start up front. Wan-Bissaka, we don't know yet, do we? But I can't wait. Honestly, can't wait. Look, I'll catch up with you all at 4:30. Over on the main channel. Don't be late. Don't forget to check out that match bingo. Link is in the description below. I'll see you later on.